morning. It is Tuesday, August 3rd. I'm Danielle Wiggins with your 3 News Now morning update. Thanks for spending a few minutes with me on the WKYC Facebook and YouTube pages. It's election day for many, but before we get to details for that, here's Holly with a look at the forecast if you're running out to vote.
Danielle, thank you. And as we head through the rest of the afternoon, it's lovely. The little specks of green, just some cloud cover at times, very similar to what we had yesterday. The only differences will be a few degrees warmer and highs in the upper 70s. Yesterday we hit 75 officially at Hopkins, but the humidity is low and it still feels great. Most of you started off in the 50s again this morning. And then as we head through the overnight hours and get into your Wednesday, we'll see temperatures a little more seasonal with lows in the upper 50s, 60s. Warming tomorrow even more so, and there is the chance of an isolated shower or thunderstorm. Very isolated and spotty with highs in the low 80 range. And then we get into tomorrow night and Thursday, and that continues. So there is going to be more August heat, don't you worry. Here's a look at the forecast for today. More sunshine and gosh, is it lovely. Upper 70s to near 80 degrees. And then we're in the low to mid 80s midweek. We'll end up really heating it up this weekend. In fact, Danielle, by the end of the weekend, we're around 90. Back to you.
Ooh, wow. Thank you so much, Holly. Well, today is election day for some in our viewing area. They're voting for who will become the Democratic nominee to fill the 11th congressional seat in Ohio. It was left vacant by Marcia Fudge when she accepted the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development position with the Biden administration. Polls are now open and will stay open until 7:30. If you are in line at 7:30, you can still vote. Now, right now, the front runners of the candidates are Democrats Nina Turner and Shontel Brown. Now, they have been canvassing hard over the last few days in a deep blue district that re-elected Marcia Fudge with 80% of the vote. Experts say the two frontrunners have a lot more in common than what you may think.
The truth of the matter is they have more in agreement than they do in disagreement. If you actually look at all the issues, I would say they agree far more than they disagree.
I just want to do more of the work that I've been doing for the last 9 consecutive years.
I want to help to continue to work to change the material conditions for the poor, the working poor, and the barely middle class.
Now, if you are unsure if you live in the 11th district, so here is the map from the Federal Election Commission to give you an idea. The district spans from the east and west sides of Cleveland down to Akron. We have a link to search your address and see if it's in this area on WKYC.com. And remember, we are your election headquarters. Our website also has extensive coverage on the candidates and much more. That's over again at WKYC.com. And now to Kirtland, where City Council met for more than 4 hours last night in a special meeting to discuss the future of its police chief. Council is determining if the city will fire Chief Lance Nasi. He is facing accusations of misconduct ranging from harassment to drunkenness. Kirtland Mayor Kevin Potter, well, he sent a letter to his home in early July outlining the 13 allegations against him. That's after a 3-month investigation into Nasi's conduct. In developing news from Cleveland, where an off-duty police officer shot someone outside a Giant Eagle last night. Police say the officer was working security at the store on West 117th when 2 men got in a fight leaving the store. A customer told the officer that one of the men had a gun, and when the officer got involved, shots were fired. A 21-year-old was shot in the behind and sent to the hospital in serious condition. The officer was not injured. Turning to COVID-19 news, Cuyahoga County has now reached the CDC's threshold for substantial transmission. This means it is recommended that everyone, regardless of vaccination status, wear masks indoors. As of right now, all but 3 Northeast Ohio counties are in the orange for substantial spread. State health officials are urging Ohioans to be cautious, but not to panic. And now schools are starting to update their mask policies. The Ohio State University is requiring everyone to wear masks indoors on campus. And when it comes to our local districts, They are having to adjust their plans monthly, even weekly, as COVID conditions change. Cleveland Metropolitan Schools is requiring all students to wear a mask for the first 5 weeks of school or until they receive updated CDC guidance. Akron Public Schools also released its guidelines requiring all students to wear a mask indoors, and they say that they plan to look at their plans monthly. Northeast Ohio's largest grocery store chain is once again making changes to its mask policy. Giant Eagle says starting Friday, both customers and employees must wear a mask in the store, regardless of their vaccine status. The changes comes as the CDC updates recommendations based on the rising number of COVID-19 cases. But in good news, the U.S. has reached the 70% milestone in getting people vaccinated with at least their first shot. The White House COVID response team trying to stress, even if you get COVID-19 after getting a vaccine, your experience won't be as severe.
I want to be clear. While vaccinated people can spread the virus if they get a breakthrough infection, the odds of them getting sick in the first place are far lower than those who are unvaccinated. And in fact, places with more vaccination generally have less disease.
The CDC's latest guidance for those who test positive for COVID, vaccinated or not, is to quarantine for 10 days. After that, it is recommended to test again for the virus. And locally, University Hospitals has just opened a COVID recovery clinic for patients suffering from long-term symptoms of COVID-19. The clinic is open to patients of all ages, including children and young adults. COVID-19 long haul syndrome can affect multiple organs in the body, including the lungs, heart, and brain. To the Olympics now, and let me already tell you, this is a spoiler alert. So if you're waiting to watch women's gymnastics tonight, well, kind of like tune away just a little bit, because you have been warned. Simone is back. She was finally feeling well enough to compete and took home the bronze medal in the balance beam this morning. Simone Biles, of course, finished behind two competitors from China. She also won bronze in the beam competition in the 2016 Rio Games. Now, this medal now ties her for the most medals of an American female gymnast. Fellow American Suni Lee finished in 5th place. Okay, in entertainment news, an update from Cleveland filmmaking duo the Russo brothers. Their next movie, The Gray Man, just wrapped filming over the weekend. The spy thriller stars Ryan Gosling and Chris Evans as warring assassins. It's set to come out on Netflix and is one of the streaming service's most expensive films yet, with a budget near $200 million. So let's hope that that movie is really good for that amount. Alrighty, well, thank you for taking time to join me for this 3 News Now morning update. Our digital team will continue to bring you the stories making headlines around Northeast Ohio and beyond. Make sure you continue to check our social media pages and WKYC.com throughout the day. I'm Danielle Wiggins, and I'll see you Wednesday morning on Go, starting at 4:30 a.m. Have a great day, everyone, and keep on persevering.